Hi, this is G-Mac for the Razor Company, and today's shave is really very special for a reason that is very close to my heart, and that of course has to do with the topic of suicide prevention. Now, the Razor Company for the last 4 years, that includes this year, has been doing something called Never Alone, where they bring together a load of artisans, a couple of very, very popular wet shavers, and they do sell products for that particular project in that particular year. So this is Never Alone 4. And what happens is that those the funds raised from those sales go entirely to 3 charities. We'll talk about that in detail. So just to give you a little bit about this, well, in today's day and age where I do believe that people get disconnected from others in terms of friends, in terms of family, they get disconnected from probably the old school methods, which I love, which is prayer. And there's this kind of a void that is left where people then tend to have no answers or no solutions to what they're going through, and that depression leads to very disastrous consequences. My heart goes out to, the families and friends, those who've lost people. And I do love what the Razor Company has been doing. So as I said, this is the 4th year, and I'm gonna have to refer back to a lot of my notes. So do forgive me for that. It's not something I could remember from the top of at the top of my hat. So to begin with, of course, let's not forget that this entire project was put together, and it was done with a couple of wet shavers kept in mind, and those of course are Justin, the Red Island shaver, who has been very instrumental with not only informing a lot of wet shavers on Instagram and through the Razor Company website about his own experiences, and at the same time we also have Ken, the vintage head shaver. 2 lovely lads. I'm just going to show you. They are featured on the shaving soap that I'll be using today. 2 absolutely wonderful men, as you can see. Now, one from Canada and the other from the United States of America. It's always a joint kind of collaboration or a joint effort. Now, the others who've been involved in this, and it's quite fascinating, is Peter Chakalis of Ariana and Evans, Heather Melton of Zingari Man, Chris Kirchin of Carve Razors, beautiful razor that was in there, beautiful soap. Heather Melton had a lovely soap as well featured. And Gardner and Amelia from AKA Brushworks, Jonathan Landstorm of JMLD Designs, Carlos de Medeiros, and Scott Big Popper, and Deborah Moore of Arts and More. So they've all been included in this. Whatever sales were there for the brushes, I have a lovely t-shirt as well along with the soap, but whatever funds were raised go to 3 charities, and that of course is the Canadian Mental Health Association, PEI, in Canada, the Alliance of Hope in USA, and the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline USA. Now, if you're ever wondering as to why I would have had to read out something like this, it's important, and it's something that I wouldn't remember. I would not want to make a mistake with that. September is the National Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, and there's a helpline to call, 988 for USA and Canada. And, well, the important thing is that the soap that was featured, now this is really interesting, and I really wanted to feature this, and I promised, Jason, that I was going to get this out and feature it. This is the Never Alone 4 soap. It's a stunning design. For me, 11 on 10. The 2 hands in there that signify support, human healing, and warmth. It's got our 2, our 2 important shavers in there who, really contributed to this. It's got the ingredients count, and there's so much to it, to this entire project, that it kind of fills my heart. So the main thing is, if you look at the soap, let's get down to the soap itself here. So the soap has this little bit inscribed on it that says, or written on it, when you don't have the strength to take another step, ask those around you to pull you forward. And there's the helpline number on that as well. It's the text right up here, as you can see. The ingredients of this soap, of course, are stearic acid, water, glycerin, cocoa butter, shea butter, shoria butter, cocoa butter, rice, milk, beer, cocoa butter, castor oil, palm fruit oil, mango butter, avocado oil, jojoba oil, and sunflower oil. There's no lanolin in this. Very interestingly, let me open up the soap for you. First, a whiff of it. It smells like lemon candy. You know that effervescent lemon candy that you had when you were young, that kind of resembled a fizzy lemon pop, very much like that. It's got a lovely little guitar plectrum in there, which can be used as a soap scoop, and it's got the number dial 988. This, for me, is not just unique. I scooped out a very little bit of this soap, maybe about half a teaspoon, and there's a reason for it. I really want to make this last. I love everything about it. I love the project. I love the packaging. I love the soap. The fragrance of it takes you back to childhood days. And there's a little bit that I want to read out about that fragrance count, or the fragrance profile. It says yuzu, Sicilian lime, lavender, and white pepper. Each note is a reminder that no matter what, we stand together. So this is about mental awareness, about mental health, and the human heart, and the ability of the human heart to heal. So reach out to somebody if you ever have an issue, if you have a problem. And let's get straight down to the shave itself. So for today, I will be using, along with the soap I've already lathered up, I'm going to be using my Frank Shaving Pur-Tec Pro brush. I've got my Oaken Lab bowl, and as you can see, I've already got a lather going in there. Wanted to keep it a little pasty, not too thin this time around. For my razor, I will be using the Yintal Bronze. This is the version 1, which has a little more blade gap. I absolutely love this razor. I'm not going to be reviewing it, so I'm going to keep that information very, very minimal. For the blade, it'll be the Wilkinson Sword. And I've got this one is on its second use, so just going to knock the blade in there. Well, there you go. And well, actually, it's my first shave with the Yintal. I had the version 2, which I did not like because it was too mild. It's a great razor for, you know, somebody transitioning from cartridge to probably, you know, de-shaving. But Yintal, they do surprise me with their blade clamping, their blade alignment. It's always spot on. You know, you do have the blade tab sticking out, but as you can see, well, the blade reveal, just to give you a little bit. You can see the tabs, they just stick out right there. Okay, and well, let's get down to the shave itself. So, first pass. It's always an interesting bit for me when it comes to talking about, well, how, you know, there's nothing greater than human touch. Don't remember if you remember, I mean, I don't know if you remember the Bruce Springsteen album, you know, Human Touch. And there's a lot of truth to that. So let's get down to this. Really excited about this. And as you whip up the lather, that, you know, the lemony, fizzy, citrusy kind of fragrance comes through. Not too much of lavender, but it's a bit bergamot, yuzu kind of, and I love yuzu. I love it in everything, including desserts. One thing about, you know, Ariana and Evans and, you know, whatever Peter has been doing through his entire career as an artisan soap maker, you know, a lot of the times we kind of take him for granted because he comes out with so many products, but he has been institutional in what he has contributed to, you know, wet shavers over the years. He's an absolutely amazing man. And I do think that, well, there's a little bit of a kind of a lemony, tingly feel to the soap. It's quite interesting, actually. Kind of makes me feel like it really feels like you're having a lemon pop, you know, in summer. So I did want to feature this razor. I did want to feature this, awesome shaving soap. But more importantly, I really wanted to talk about this whole project. And while most of the items in Never Alone 4 are sold out, you can still grab yourself some, beautiful T-shirts which have those very encouraging and motivating messages, very positive messages on them. So you might want to get some of those. The brushes sold out the first by AKA Brushworks, then it was the razor, and then, I think the razor company made sure that there was a lot of soap, but that went out too. And it's a good thing that it did, because all those proceeds go to charity. And how amazing is that? Of course, the razor company also had this beautiful project for a friend of Jason that's known as Kim. Kim is battling a very rare form of cancer, so if you ever get a chance, you should kind of, try and read up on it, and maybe the next time around I'll give you her Instagram handle. She's a absolutely wonderful lady, so very, very positive, and very powerful, very inspiring actually, to know somebody or to be in touch with somebody like her. Let's get on with the first pass. My first time with the Yintal brass. It's got good weight on it, a lovely length of handle. Gauging, it's about 4 inches. I have to say one thing about this razor. It is smooth as silk, and I mean that in the nicest possible manner. It's not something that you kind of you don't feel the weight. It's very interesting actually. I wasn't really expecting much from it. And the soap is just lovely. It's slick. It's absolutely slick. Lovely fragrance. Really reminds me of the time when there's a bit of sugar in that, if you ask me. You get so many citrusy fragrances, but citrus-based, essential oils used inside a soap, but you never really get that sugary kind of note. And I'll always commend Ariana and Evans for what they do with their fragrances. Absolutely stunning, some of them. You can never go wrong. If you ever think that you're going to, fall short of a fragrance that is described or, by the soap company, A&E always get it right. You might not like the fragrance, but if they've said that that's the fragrance, it's there 100%. It's an absolutely wonderful razor. I wasn't really expecting much from it. Cost you about $9 or $10 maybe online, with maybe even less for that matter. But it's worth it. If it shaves well, why not? It's a brass razor and it sings kind of a vintage song. One thing I've always been against is, when companies tweak their razors and they make them milder, I'm not a fan. Smoother is one thing, but this razor is absolutely smooth. And, the new version, it's nice, don't get me wrong. It's got better blade clamping, probably the same blade clamping, but I don't think the blade tabs are exposed in that one. They kind of override that. They cover the blade tabs. Is it a better razor than version 1 for me? Absolutely not. Just going to do a quick rinse and get on to the second pass. Always want to feel how my face feels. Feels wonderful. Absolutely feels wonderful. So let's get on to our second pass. Once again, I'm just going to remind you, the next time Never Alone kicks in, be a part of the project. I don't know, it's a feel-good thing, to do something that is, in whatever little way, it's not like, what the Red Island shaver or what, the vintage head shaver are doing. They really took a lot of time out. It's not like what the artisans like Chris Kirshen or Heather Melton, Peter Chakalis, or any of them are doing. They took a lot of time out. They put in a lot more contribution, but in your own special way, like I did, just a little small way, get to be a part of the project. It's really wonderful, and they're such amazing products. I begin to think that they're even better than the products you could normally buy from these companies, which means that they put in that much of passion and thought into creating them. Absolutely love that. And these special limited edition products are a keeper. They also remind you, that guitar pick, how thoughtful is that, with that lovely little, that number imprinted on it. Second pass. It's almost yogurt-like, the consistency of the soap. We all have our favorite shavers, who we've probably watched over a period of time. And, when I started shaving, a couple of them that I used to watch were, of course, Kevy Shaves and Sinatra, Lennon, a Geofat Boy as well. But my favorite shaver of all time, for some reason, and probably because I identified with him, with the fact that he always harped on value, the fact that he always had clear-cut instruction, is IMCDB. Always wonder if he's all right and doing okay, because his videos have been missing. And this is one of the things about the shaving community, right? It's not a very big community. It's a small community. It's a community where people know each other. And I mean small, not in terms of size, but in terms of how connected people are. You look at me, I'm just a regular wet shaver. I'm not some celebrity or anything like that, but I've always reached out to some of the big, popular shavers. They've always replied. They've always been a help. And I'm going to name some of them, especially Sig Solo. God bless him. He's such an amazing man, such a lovely, individual or a shaver, I'd say. Always ready to help, always ready to offer advice. Or for that matter, our very own friends at the razor company, always ready to help. Reached out to them sometimes when I need a product which is just launched and before somebody else gets it. They'll always make sure that it's restocked. They always have the best advice in case you need any advice on, some of the products. Well, the soap feels so good. It's kind of a bit oily, like a moisturizer. And I always liken a lot of the soaps that I use to moisturizers, because once you put a moisturizer on your face, the feeling that you get of it kind of being a rich, a little bit milky or creamy. This is pretty much it. So on to our second pass. Well, I'm just enjoying the shave today. So I've got a Wilkinson sword in this razor, but you could probably, even dial it down a little bit. It's fairly efficient. It's not aggressive. It's very smooth. And it's a very, very loud razor. So I don't know if you can hear the cutting sound of it. Reminds me of, people cutting grass or clearing out the fields. So wonderful soap, wonderful initiative. As I said earlier, go ahead and grab those hoodies or t-shirts that are still available from the Never Alone 4 project. It'll all be gone soon. Not very difficult to find the angle on this razor, even though the head of it, well, has a little bit of a protrusion. I can't really call it scalloped, but it's got a few lines on the base plate that helps it. There are some days when you want to be extra cautious, you'll spend a lot of time, and well, that's another thing I wanted to talk about. The soap, it's not very thirsty. It took me about 3 cycles of hydration to actually get it going, and that was it. Had this wonderful creamy lather. Interestingly, I have friends who are big fans of, voluminous lather. I'm not. As long as it's slick, yogurt-like, I love it. I don't know whether it's the brass, but it really feels like, it really feels like you're cutting grass. The sound of the blades as they cut through the grass. Don't know how to describe it. I don't really have a green thumb, never really been involved with gardening, but that sound, it's there in this. And let's not forget that, even if the soap is kind of OP now and you have to wait till next year for Never Alone 5, the Ariana and Evan soaps, you have the whole range available at the Razor Company. And the wonderful thing is they make something for everyone. So there are some soaps that are lanolin free. Just have to look up the ingredients and pick your soap. Interesting. That was very, very easy under the nose. And let's not forget that while I talk about the razor and the blade and a whole lot of other things, the soap contributes in a very, very big way. Because if the soap is really provides a good cushion and protection, you pretty much nailed it. Oh, that is baby smooth. It really is. Just a little bit here. Outstanding shave. I wasn't expecting that. There are some days when I'm just surprised. A quick rinse and I'll be back. So that was our shave today. Let's very quickly recap all the gear used for today's shave. First up, I'm going to reintroduce that soap to you, and that's Never Alone. Let's not forget that beautiful and very thoughtful guitar pick inside the plectrum. Let me see if I can show it to you. And it's got the dial 988 on it. It's got the vintage shaver, and it's got Ken and Justin there, the vintage shaver and the Red Island shavers from Canada and USA respectively. And well, a quick rub of alum before I can get to the aftershave. Always need that. Alum is good for you unless you have a really dry skin. Then I would suggest you just go with an aftershave balm. And so besides the soap, the other bits that were used today, I had my Frank Shaving Pur-Tec Pro brush, my Oaken Lab bowl, and the razor for today was the Yintal brass. Let me show it to you again. An absolutely wonderful razor. If you can get yourself this version 1, if you notice that design, it's got, well, it's not scalloped, but it's got, the straight bar has a design on it. Beautiful clamping, great alignment. I love the weight of the razor. If you can get yourself version 1, it's a little more efficient and not as mild as version 2, but it's a better razor according to me. And the aftershave for today, we'll just do a quick rinse and get to that. So because there's lavender inside the soap, I thought I'd get something with lavender. That, of course, is the Wilkinson sword blade. Going in with the Lavanda eau de cologne made by Brito in Portugal. That is a beautiful fragrance and a perfect finish to that lemony, lovely soap that had a little bit of lavender in it. Well, finishing it off with the lavender aftershave. So thank you so much once again for taking the time out to watch me shave, and I do hope that I did bring you a bit of joy. We'll be back with you with another video real soon. And remember, just as Never Alone, focuses on one thing. When you're down, reach out to someone. It could be a friend, it could be a family member, it could be anyone. I do reach out. I reach out to Jesus. I pray a lot, and I have no qualms in saying that I walk in faith, and I love that bit. So all the best to you and your family. Stay well, and catch you again with a new shave very soon.